Hey guys, it's Kevin, another movie for guys. Now this movie reviewing, this is a movie that I definitely was very interested in, to say the least. If you guys looked at my December movie preview, this is a movie that I definitely was really looking forward to seeing. And finally today, I got the chance to watch it, and that is none other than a movie that you probably never heard of, and I'm surprised isn't getting more buzz, and that movie is none other than The Eyes of My Mother. Right from that title, I was very intrigued by this movie. I really didn't know what we were going to get here. I knew the trailer freaked me out. I found it to be very eerie, and I really thought it looked like something great. So I checked it out, I rented it on Amazon, and to be completely honest with you guys, while The Eyes of My Mother is one of the most eerie and thrilling films of the year, it is by far, without a doubt, the most fucked up movie I have seen all year. But I still really loved it. I thought this movie was really great. I really enjoyed The Eyes of My Mother overall. It's kind of weird to say I enjoyed it, but let's get to the plot of The Eyes of My Mother, which, guys, this is a movie that I want you guys to go into knowing little to nothing about, so I'm going to try to keep this as vague as possible. And, you know, I will definitely tell you some plot details, but I'm not going to tell you anything too major because I don't want you guys to really know anything. But essentially, this movie is about this girl, Francesca. She lives on a farm with her mother, and her mother essentially teaches her how to not really be that feared by death and not really have death affect her that much. She teaches her basically, all this stuff with, remove. She is a eyeball surgeon and performs a lot of weird tasks on how to do that. And after something ends up happening to her mother, Francesca is left to fend for herself and basically starts to rely on what her mother told her with basically anyone that comes into her rear view. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't really want to spoil this movie. But let's just get right into it, starting off with the cast. Now, this is not a movie that you talk about in terms of acting. The acting in this movie, while I think is universally great from everyone, that's not really the thing to talk about. However, I do have two performances that very much do stick out in my mind. First of all, Kika Magalhaes as Francesca is incredible in this movie. She blew me away. I've never seen this actress before, and it's one of those actresses where you think you've seen her, but you really haven't. But she blew me away, creeped the hell out of me. I mean, everything about her is just so damn creepy. This character is so weird. She's so creepy, but she's also really compelling. I mean, this is someone who is completely isolated throughout most of the movie on a farm, and is really left to fend for herself and kind of she is batshit. She is the definition of batshit crazy, and all the stuff that she does in this movie, between the way that she, uses what her mother told her, but also the way that she keeps herself occupied, is just so damn fascinating. And even though it is so fucked up what she's doing, because it really is, it's also so fascinating, and I couldn't take my eyes off the screen when she was on. I found her to be so interesting, so creepy, but also so easy to watch. Like, it's definitely not, what I mean by easy to watch is it's one of those movies where you can't help but look away. She really was fantastic here. I love what she did in this movie, and she absolutely blew me away. I can't wait to see what else she was going to do, because she was incredible. And then Dianna Agostini as her mother. You want to talk about creepy performances. I mean, just the second that this woman was on screen, looking into her eyes, it's freaked me out, really. I mean, these two give some of the most creepy, terrifying, and just downright twisted performances I have seen all year. I think they all did a really good job, but now we come to one of my problems with the movie, is that besides these two, no one else really sticks out, and I'll talk about why in a second. But because these two performances are so good, it is definitely something that I can avoid. But like I said, this is not really a movie that you talk about in terms of acting. What you do talk about is the directing and the writing, because wow, is this movie very unconventional. I'm going to say this right now. This is not a movie for casual moviegoers. If you are someone who likes to watch a movie with your friends and you don't really view movies as something deep, you kind of just view it as an entertaining experience, which is completely fine if you do. Everyone views movies differently. But if you don't really see movies in a deep way, this is not the movie to watch. I mean, this movie is so twisted. It is so deep, and there's just so much about it that is going to turn many people off. But for me, I found myself consistently enthralled the entire time. The directing to this movie is so well done. There's almost no sound throughout this entire movie. What I mean by no sound, there's almost no music throughout this entire movie. It's a very quiet film, but it's a film that you can't help but watch. And the tone of this movie is just so eerie. Like, everything about it is so eerie, between the way the movie is done, the way certain scenes are composed, just everything about it is so eerie. I think Nicolas Pesce's direction, sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but his direction here was so well realized. Some of the best directioning I've seen all year, and I really think he did an incredible job when it came to the direction for this movie. It really could have gone wrong, but he kept me thoroughly involved in what was going on, and that's something I definitely will commend him on. Now, the screenplay for this movie, here's where we start to get to some issues with the film. Now, let me just say that I'm going to be completely honest. There are things about this movie that I don't fully understand. In fact, the second I was done with it, I really was saying, should I review this movie right now? I really did not know if I was really ready to review this movie. But thinking about it, yes, I am definitely ready to review it. But I will admit that there are definitely things that I think that if I watch this movie a second time and try to, watch a second time, I will love this movie even more. But the writing in this movie, I thought, was really, really well done. Perfectly, I think, portrays the life of someone who's very secluded and someone who is all by themselves and really just wants to make connections, which I don't want to spoil how that is, but the way that was done, I thought, was very interesting. Francisca is someone who, like I said, while you're so creeped out by her, you also really do feel bad for her. I mean, she's doing all of these fucked up things throughout the movie, and when I mean fucked up, they're so fucked up, but despite that, you can't help but feel bad for her. The situation she's in, the life that she has, no one should have to go through that. She is living one of the most depressing lives you could really think of, and the way that Nicolas Pesce showed her life and really just made it so in-depth and showed you everything that she was going through, I thought was so well done. I thought the writing was very well done in that regard, and that's something that I definitely really did like. However, the writing also bothered me at points because there's a lot of downtime in this movie. And when I mean a lot of downtime, I mean a lot of downtime. I mean, there are points in this movie where almost nothing is happening, and any time that you have another character on screen, I thought that they were good in the moment, but I just didn't really care about them in the way the movie wanted me to, because the movie does away with them before I can really care about them, and that was something that did kind of bother me after a while. And I get that that's kind of the point, that Francisca really doesn't have anyone else in her life and she wants to bond with someone, but just the characters in this movie, I just didn't really find all that compelling besides Francisca. And maybe that's the point. Right now, it is something that bothers me, but maybe when I watch the movie second time, I will definitely understand that. But there are definitely scenes in this movie that I found really did not need to be. Like, there is this one scene where she's all alone in her house and she just randomly starts dancing to Portuguese music, and that's something that I really did not understand at all. I don't really know what that scene meant. Also, the movie constantly goes between English and Portuguese, and I don't really know why. It felt very strange. I mean, even characters, there are times she'll be talking to a character in English, and then suddenly she's speaking Portuguese, and it just didn't really make much sense to me in what the movie was trying to do there. That very much didn't make much sense, so I really did not know how the writing was. The best thing I will definitely give this movie, though, is the cinematography. Some of the best I have seen all year. I mean, the cinematography in this movie is so well done. The movie is in black and white, but I honestly feel it really does suit the movie better, because this is one of those movies where they don't show you anything, honestly. You rarely see any of the violence on screen. You know what she did, and you see the aftermath, but you don't really see what she actually did. And it makes it that much creepier by not knowing what she did. Because, again, I've said this before, what we picture in our head is so much scarier than what we see on screen. That is something that Zach Kuberstein, the one who did the cinematography for this movie, really understands very well. That what we see on screen is not nearly as terrifying as what we can come up with in our head. I mean, I've had horrifying nightmares that are so much more horrifying than any movie I've ever seen, and I think that's something that Zach Kuberstein really did well with the cinematography here. The black and white really does add to the eeriness of this movie, but also to Francisca's character. She lives a very black and white life where there's really not much to it, and she's constantly doing the same thing. I think the cinematography was really well done in that regard, and that's something that I definitely really did appreciate. The score in this movie is almost non-existent. There's barely a score. I mean, the movie opens up and right off the bat, there's no score. There's only about 3 times there's actually a score. And when the score was done, it was really well done, but it just was barely in the movie that I can't really say much about it. I did find the ending of this movie to be fine. The movie is 76 minutes long. I did actually feel the length, though. Even though it is 76 minutes, there are some scenes in this movie that easily, I think, could have been cut down. I think there are some scenes that I just don't really know what they were trying to do. To me, I think the movie could have honestly been an hour long. I really am being honest with you guys. I think the movie could have been an hour long because I think it would have honestly served a lot of really would have served the movie better because there are a lot of scenes that, again, I don't fully understand. So maybe when I rewatch it, I'll understand it more. But just right now, I really did not understand a lot of shit going on in this movie, and especially when it comes to the editing. I really did not understand a lot of it. So overall, guys, The Eyes of My Mother is one of the most twisted, fucked up films you can watch all year. It is not a movie for everyone, without a doubt. I can see so many people hating this movie, think it's pretentious, think it's trash. But for me, I found the story to be very engaging. I found this to be a very interesting story about isolation and loneliness. And like I said, even though there are things that I didn't understand, it didn't keep me from really loving this film. And right now, my grade is what it is, mainly because of the fact that, like I said, I didn't understand a lot of it. But I am sure when I rewatch this movie, my grade will probably go a lot higher. But for right now, as it stands, I am going to give The Eyes of My Mother a 4 out of 5 or a B+. It is not a movie for everyone. It's a movie that I strongly recommend that you watch with caution. It's not a movie that is very easy to sit through. It is a very eerie, thrilling film that I found to be very enthralling, but I can find many people to maybe think is snooze-worthy or even boring. But for me, I was constantly engaged. I found it to be a very interesting look into a very messed up world and a very fucked up woman's psyche, and I think the movie showed that very well. And again, while there are things I don't understand, I would still recommend it. I just really would say watch with caution because, wow, is it fucked up. And if you guys thought the Neon Demon was fucked up, I mean, this is so much more fucked up than that. I can't even tell you. But that's it for my review, The Eyes of My Mother. Hope you guys enjoy it. Again, I didn't fully understand a lot of the movie, but I wanted to get out a review because if I don't review a movie the day after I watch it, I forget a lot of shit, and I want to give the best review possible for a movie like this. This is a movie that I definitely recommend you guys watch. If you're interested, I'd say check it out. Just know what you're getting into because, wow, is it weird. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you guys next video. Guys, I am so hyped for my next video because it will be for tonight's production of Hairspray Live, something I've been wanting to talk to you guys about for a long time, and finally comes out tonight, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.